y'all, and welcome to my channel, Kitchen Notes from Nancy. If you're new here, I'd like to welcome you to our neighborhood, and I'd hope you decide to subscribe before you leave today. And if you're already a part of our neighborhood, I'd like to greet you with the customary, hey neighbor. Go ahead and do me a favor, smash that like button before we get into today's video, because this is going to be a good one. In tonight's video, I am going to be doing my updated version of fried cabbage. Y'all, the fried cabbage video was one that got me started and kind of got me out there on YouTube. So tonight, we are updating that, and I'm showing you how I currently cook my fried cabbage. So if you want to see this updated version, make sure you stay tuned. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Love you guys. Okay, so the ingredients from this fried cabbage, I think, are a little bit different from my previous video. And I will link my previous video in the description bar and also in the cards for you. So the ingredients we're going to use today, we're going to use some smoked brats. I switch up the type of sausage I use in here. I use all kinds of different kinds. Like I have some smoked turkey andouille sausage in the refrigerator that I almost used, but I'm going to make a jambalaya in the coming days, so I'm gonna save that for that. So tonight I'm gonna be using these smoked brats. I'm gonna be using an onion. I'm only gonna use about half of this onion. We'll be using half of a green bell pepper, and then probably this whole red bell pepper. I'll let you know. That was a little piece I took off of it for my omelet video this morning. That video went up yesterday, so go check that one out. You'll need a little bit of butter, some garlic, little bit of olive oil, and for our seasonings, we're gonna do red pepper, crushed red pepper, salt, black pepper, ground black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. And if you're wondering what's in this jar, okay, I save my bacon grease. So anytime I cook bacon, I have a jar, I keep it in my refrigerator, I add the bacon grease to it, and then I use the bacon grease as I need it. So that's why you don't see any bacon tonight. Sometimes I'll fry bacon out and put it in my fried cabbage, but I have this bacon grease, and so it's gonna add the bacon flavor for me. Just a tip, save your bacon grease. We have a little bit of chicken broth on hand just in case we need it. And the star of the show tonight is one green cabbage. So I am going to clear this stuff off, and then we're gonna start chopping up our vegetables and get this show on the road. So we're gonna start with our bell pepper. And I just like to cut mine in strips, nothing fancy. So just gonna cut them in strips. All right, and so when I say strips, something like, see if it'll focus, something like this is what I like to do. Okay. So I'm going to get the green pepper, also the red pepper cut up, and then I'll be back with you to cut up the onion. Okay, so the bell peppers are now cut up, and I decided to only use about 1/4 of that red bell pepper. So I still have this much left. All right. So now we're gonna go ahead and cut up our onion. And I'm only going to use about half of this onion. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and cut that in half. And then I'll save the other half for something else. And now I'm just gonna kind of cut it into slices similar to the peppers. So I like for my onion to still be thin also, in little strips, kind of like the bell pepper. So that's how I like mine. And we're only using a half of an onion because we're still going to use onion powder and all of that stuff. So that's why we're only going to use a half of an onion. Okay, so now we got our onion chopped up. Going to dump that over there with the peppers. And that takes care of that. So now the next step is for me to show you how I handle the star. So the first thing I do, some people like to cut down off into the core. I don't like to do that. I cut around the core to begin with. So I just cut all the way around the core, and I just toss it. So I don't keep this, I don't eat it, I don't do anything with it. It can be kind of fibrous, and so I'm not really fond of it. So now I take a big bowl and I'm going to sit that bowl in the sink, and we're going to start working with our cabbage. So I like my cabbage in fairly thin strips for this as well. So I cut it and then I just go down in straight lines, and so the cabbage ends up like this. Not as thin as coleslaw, but they're probably about a ½ inch or so pieces. And that's just my preference for cutting the cabbage. You don't have to cut the cabbage this way. It makes it easier for me to eat once I'm done. So that's why I do it that way. I'll cut that green leaf by itself. So just gonna keep cutting here. Again, I'm just gonna cut it in half. All right, and then go down. So tonight we're eating our fried cabbage with tomorrow's video, and that is going to be southern fried catfish. Y'all, I love me some fish, but I definitely love catfish. So that's what we're having with this tonight. I'm also probably gonna do a little yellow rice with it. So I have a call meeting to get on at 6 o'clock. So once I'm done with that meeting, I'll come back and fry the fish. But I wanted to go ahead and get the cabbage done before the meeting. And so that'll be one less thing out of my way. And then I'm just gonna put the rice on in the rice cooker, and we will be in business and eating a good meal tonight. So what do you like to eat your fried cabbage with? We're eating ours with some yellow rice and catfish tonight. So drop down in the comment section, let me know. These are those green leaves, and I like to cut those in strips too, but I just do it like this. So, and we're gonna wash this. That's why we put it in the sink, in the bowl, because we're going to give this a really, really good wash. I don't wash my cabbage before I wash it after I cut it up. Just in case something was hiding on the inside, you know. So that is the entire cabbage cut up. So now we're gonna give this cabbage a really good rinse. And what I do is, I just fill my bowl up with water, slosh it around real good, and this is really warm water. And so I just kind of work it around real good. And then after I do this for about 3 times, it's pretty good to go. But I take it, so the way I do it is, I just kind of slosh it around in the water and then I put it in another bowl. So as I wash it, sometimes I don't put it in a bowl, I'll use the sides of the sink. But I have some dishwater over there today, so we can just do it in the bowls. And then I do this about 3 times, transferring it back and forth. And then I consider it good to go. Now, if you wash your cabbage some other way, you know, that's awesome. But I've been washing mine like this forever. My mama washed hers like this, and I'm still kicking. So I think this is good. But yeah. So one other thing we need to do, and I kind of got ahead of myself, is cut up our sausage. For today, I'm only gonna use, I think 3 pieces. No, that's a lot. I'm gonna use 4. I'll save these other 2 for breakfast in the morning or something. So for my sausage, see, can you see me? I like to cut it down the middle like this, and then I do little half moon shapes. So that way I get smaller pieces of sausage. So I'm gonna continue to do this, and I'll be back with you once it's done. So here we are over the pan, and I'm going to take a tablespoon and go in and get about a tablespoon of my bacon grease. And again, remember I told you, you can cook some bacon and get some bacon grease, or if you have it saved like I do, you can use this. You don't have to do the bacon. But you could actually use bacon in your fried cabbage if you want to. I just tend to like to use sausage in mine. Occasionally I'll use bacon, but most of the time I like to use sausage. Alright, and so to that bacon fat, add just a little bit of olive oil. And I'm just letting this spoon, I'm just heating the spoon up so that the bacon fat can melt off of it. That's all. That's the only reason why I have that spoon there. So that when the spoon heats up, it'll liquefy. So now that this is warm, I am going to go ahead and add in my onions and peppers. And I'm going to let these cook down a little bit until they get somewhat soft. So now that these have started to soften nicely, we're gonna go ahead and add our sausage. And then we're going to let this continue to cook. And the sausage should render a little bit more oil that we're going to use in addition to the butter that we're going to add. And I am working on a medium heat. This whole process will be on basically a medium heat. And y'all, the smell, the smell is absolutely wonderful. Growing up, my mama always boiled her cabbage. And I like it. You know, that's how I was used to it. My sister, my grandmama, that's how I was used to eating cabbage. But I discovered in the past few years, cooking it down like this, and I just love it. I've tweaked the recipe over time, and like I said, a lot of times I use sausage. Occasionally I'll use a little bit of bacon, but you know, recipes are made to be adapted. So at this point, I like to go in and add my garlic, and I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of garlic. And then I'm gonna go in and add 4 tablespoons or a half a stick of butter. And once this butter melts, I am going to add in my cabbage. So now it's time for us to go ahead and add the cabbage. Now this bowl is full of cabbage. Well, let me turn it. Turn and kind of talk to you for a second. This bowl is full of cabbage. Cabbage shrinks, so you'll see how it shrinks down once it starts cooking. So I'm just going to put as much as I can in here. So we're gonna let this cook down a little bit and then we'll add the little final bit. And so what I do is just kind of move it around a little bit, and it'll start to shrink down as the heat works its way through it. All right, and as you can see, we're already starting to go a little lower. So this is what you want. And we probably won't need the chicken broth. I just pulled it out to have it on reserve, because as long as I keep it covered, cabbage basically makes its own water. And cabbage is a really good meal when you're trying to stretch $1, because a little bit goes a long way. I think this whole head of cabbage might have been $2. So cabbage is a really good meal for that. And as you can see, it's already cooking down. And those red bell peppers makes this so pretty. That's why I like adding them in, because it makes it pretty. The green ones just kind of blend in and give me the flavor I like, but the red makes it really attractive to eat. And instead of putting the extra cabbage in, I'm just gonna roll with this. There are just 2 of us. And what I do is I'll just freeze the rest of that cabbage. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start seasoning. So all of your seasonings are gonna be to taste. I do some black pepper, garlic powder. Even though I use fresh garlic and onion, I still use garlic powder and onion powder. We're gonna go in with some salt. And keep in mind that the sausage does have some salt in it. And then we're gonna go in with some red pepper flakes. Now, if you're not a fan of heat, you can omit the red pepper flakes, but I do like the addition that it gives. And you could also be really, really fancy. Sometimes I add in Cajun seasoning. You can add in lemon pepper. You can season this cabbage however you like. This is just a basic fried cabbage recipe. If you want to see some of the remixed versions I have, let me know. And I'll definitely do a video with some tips and tricks on ways to spice this up. You can put shredded carrots in it. You can do a couple different things to it. So like I said, if you want to see me do a video like that, just let me know. Now I am going to put the top back on, and the reason why I like to put the top on mine is because at this stage I'm actually steaming it. When I get ready for it to fry, I just take this off and then let that water that's in there boil out, and then I finish off with the frying process. So I know right now y'all might be saying that's steamed cabbage, it's not fried cabbage, but it will be. Right now I gotta get it to soften, because if you go directly into frying it, your cabbage is gonna be crunchy, and I don't like crunchy cabbage. So I don't like super soft cabbage, but I don't like crunchy cabbage. So the first thing I do is steam it, and then we're gonna go into the frying process. So after it has steamed, it's steamed. Now we're gonna take the top off of it and complete the frying process. You want it to steam just a little bit, and see all of this water? Look at all of that water. We didn't put that water there. It was generated by the cabbage. So now we're going to cook that water out and do the frying process. So the more you cook it, the more that water is going to cook out of it. So once all of the water has cooked away, I'll be back. Alright, so most of the water has cooked out. And this is why it's called fried cabbage, because now I just let it fry down and it's nice and tender. This is how I like mine. If you want yours a little bit more firm, then don't let yours steam as much as I let mine steam, and it'll stay firmer. But the green leaves are still pretty firm. So this is how I like mine. And like I said, pretty much all of that water has cooked out. So as you let it continue cooking, it can keep going. But this is pretty much my updated fried cabbage recipe. And y'all, I want y'all to do with this video what y'all did with the first one. The fried cabbage video and the pasta salad and dressing were the ones that really helped me kind of get on. So hey, share this one, like it, comment, let me know which recipe you like the best. Let me know if you like fried cabbage. Y'all, this video, let's get to 5,000. We're so close. We're almost there. And so, as always, I love y'all. I greatly appreciate y'all. And until next time, bye, neighbors.